Hey everybody, it's Charmel. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here with another tea talk video. So first let me say happy new year to you all. Like, I know I kind of dipped off at the end of December and then January started and I just started uploading again. We're in 2020. It's a new year, it's a new decade, and so goal setting is really popular right now. So this is actually going to be a part 2 to a previous tea talk video that I did where I talked to you guys about planners and journals. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it in the description box for you guys to go check out. So basically for this year, I decided that I'm kind of through with setting goals, and I know that's like completely opposite to everything that I said in the previous video. And it's not that I'm necessarily like completely done with setting goals, but you know, I know I've just reached a new point where it's like I need to go higher, like I need to do more. Goal setting has gotten me to where I'm currently at in my life, and it's time for me to kind of push past that. So now my focus is going from like goal setting to vision. And so I'll give you guys a quick backstory and basically how I ended up here. So from 2015 to 2018, I feel like I was just very stagnant. I was very unhappy, which I've told you guys here on my channel before. And you know, it was just not a very pleasant time. And so in 2018, I finally started kind of pushing past that stagnant phase. You know, I achieved some new goals, and then in 2019, I had a really good year last year. It was kind of like a year of release, and I was just kind of able to enjoy everything that I had recently worked towards. But then I realized at the end of 2019 that stagnant spirit, those feelings started to resurface, and I've been kind of feeling like, well, here I am again. Like, I achieved those goals and then it felt good for a while, but now I'm kind of falling into not a depression, but more so just, you know, just that stagnant phase, that uncertainty phase, like not quite sure what I'm doing. And so like I said, it's a new year, everyone's setting goals, and I'm like, well, what goals do I want to set for this year? And that's when I started to realize that I need to do more than setting goals, because when you think about a goal, it's an accomplishment or achievement. It's like, it's more singular. And I'm not gonna credit vision and having this epiphany all to myself. Shout out to somebody, I cannot think of your name and I'm so sorry, but in a previous tea talk video where I talked about overcoming fear, she told me to go watch the Crazy Faith series from Transformation Church with Pastor Mike. And I went to go watch it. I ended up watching the whole series and I subscribed, and now I've been following all of his videos. But his first sermon of this year was talking about vision, and that's kind of how I arrived to where I'm at. Like, I was already having those feelings, and then watching that sermon about vision just kind of confirmed everything that I was feeling and the need to go higher. And so yeah, when you think about a goal, it's more singular, whereas vision is, it's like where vision is like more of the whole picture. It's more whole. I've always been a goal setter, so I always set goals at the beginning of the year, and over the years I've been able to cross off my goals. But like I said, with a goal, it's singular, whereas once I cross it off and once I'm done with it, it's kind of like, well, what now? Whereas a vision, it's more of like how I want to see my life as a whole. What steps do I need to take to make that vision and that whole come to pass? Like I said, I'm not completely done with goal setting. I did set goals for this year. However, I will say that this year, I mean, I have a couple of like specific goals that I want to accomplish, but I'm so grateful that I finally reached a place in my life where it's like, my life is not perfect. I don't have everything that I want or that I desire, but at the same time, I do not lack for anything. And so I don't have many like just one-off goals that's like, I have to get this year, I have to achieve this year. Like, people like, you know, I want a new job or I want a new car. Like, I don't have many of those type of goals. So this year I decided to focus my goals more so around like character building and habits, because habits and your character are going to be what is going to carry you into your vision. So go watch my video about planners. I do have a new notebook for the year, but one thing that I incorporated new this year, I also created a page for things/habits that I'm letting go of in 2020. So I have fear, self-doubt, negative self-talk, excuses, thinking I have to be perfect, thinking I have to have it all together. Yeah, stuff like that. That's what I have on things that I'm letting go. And then I also created a list for things that I'm welcoming in 2020. So I have joy, more love, risk-taking, I'm welcoming in help, I'm welcoming in support, strength, good and healthy relationships, peace of mind, I'm welcoming in, it says, a whole lot of money. These are things that I'm encouraging you guys to implement. So you can still create a list of goals, but I also challenge you to also create a list of things that you're not going to take with you in 2020 and things that you're going to welcome into your life in 2020, in addition to setting your goals. Like I said, if you have goals with no vision, then you're just crossing things off and you're not really, in my opinion, working for anything long term. The next thing that I did for this year is I really sat down and I just found a quiet moment and just to myself to pray and just to think, like, what is it? Like, I've mentioned this here on my channel too, is that I feel like these last few years I've really been trying to figure out, like, what is my purpose? What was Charmel put on this earth to do? Because we all have a purpose. We were all created for one specific thing, which was to help and to share with others. You know, we go to these jobs, we work these jobs, and a lot of us are unhappy, we're unfulfilled, we're tired, and it's just a constant cycle. And it's like, I've been desperately trying to break out of that, and it's like, why am I here? What is it that I'm supposed to do? So I sat down, and the way that I kind of worked through it is like I started writing down like the different parts of my life, and you know, just allowing the Holy Spirit to move and for God to speak to me. And so I'll share with you guys what I have written down here. And so my vision from God was that it was bridging the outer appearance with God's purpose and anointing, moving past vanity and walking in the authority as a royal and a whole woman, walking in the fullness and abundance of God's promise to us. Basically, when people think of me, like in my personal life, maybe here on YouTube as well, but I know people in my personal life, when they think of Charmel, one thing that is going to be said about Charmel is that Charmel is always going to look presentable. Charmel is going to be put together. You know, the Snatched by Charmel that y'all get here on YouTube, that's kind of how people see me in my real life. Like, it's an area that I'm gifted in, right? And I've talked about this too, like really owning the gifts that we were given. But on top of that, I do have a desire to help. I do have a desire to teach you guys. So y'all get the Snatched by Charmel, but it's time to walk into sometimes we have to move past the vanity. And so this year I'm challenging myself, not even challenging myself, but I'm really dedicating more videos to my tea talks, to stuff like this, because life application is it's a passion of mine. And what I mean by that, I'm 29 and I'll be 30 this year, and so I spent a lot of my 20s just trying to balance everything. And the main word that God revealed to me for this year and for this decade, and as I go into my 30s, like as I end my 20s and transition into my 30s, was he revealed the word whole, W-H-O-L-E. And so and what I mean by that is that, like I said, a lot of my 20s I've been like just trying to balance all of these different things. And I think a lot of us are doing this. You know, you have your career, you have family, you have your love life, you have your social life, and we're all just trying to balance all of these things. And I feel like no one has ever really allowed me to just be everything at one time. The way that I thought about it, if you think about a scale, like an old scale with two things on the same side, you have two separate objects that you're trying to make equal. Whereas whole means containing all the elements properly and belonging. It's undivided. And so basically, like, I'm allowed to be the cute, the pop and snatch Charmel, the well put together snatched by Charmel that you guys see, but I'm also allowed to be the spiritual holy Charmel that wants to please God. And I'm also able to be the bubbly, fun, outgoing Charmel that I am with my friends, and I'm also able to be the soft little girl that I am around my boyfriend. So it's like I'm looking at my life and I'm taking all these different pieces, and I'm just reached a point where my vision is that I want to be whole, and I want to encourage other people to be whole, to where you can be all of these things at once. You don't have to separate them. You don't have to compartmentalize them all. Like, it's okay to be who you are within full capacity of everything that you are. And so with that being said, I wrote out objectives to use as a measuring stick to make sure that I'm in alignment with this vision. The first objective is honesty and authenticity. So whenever I'm working towards something, whether it's a YouTube video, whether it's at work, whether it's anything, I want to be honest and I want to be authentic. If I'm being honest and authentic, then, you know, that's in line with a vision and what God created me as. And my next objective is to teach and to help. When I do things, I want to be helpful. Whether I'm showing you guys how to apply a lace wig, whether I'm showing you guys how to braid your hair or apply your makeup, I want it to be helpful. I want to use it as a teaching or a learning moment. Whether I'm doing these chit chat videos where I'm talking to you guys, like, I want to say something that's going to help you. My last objective is because, I mean, it's still the real world and we still gotta live, and we still gotta pay bills and all this other stuff. So another objective of mine is to create and drive more revenue and income. So not to say that I'm doing things for money, but if it's not feeding me, whether it is a monetary gain, like, it needs to be adding to me and not necessarily depleting me. I just encourage everybody to kind of just work on finding their purpose this new decade. And then the last thing that I did is I wrote out a vision for 2020. So this is kind of similar. I know, like, vision boards are very popular. I'm not really a big vision, actually never done a vision board. It's not that I have anything against vision boards, but I know me personally, I just prefer writing. And writing is still visual in my opinion. So similar to what you would do in a vision board, where you would pick out images that that you want to achieve, goals and stuff, and paste it all on a board for you to work towards. I basically kind of took that same concept, except I like wrote it out on pages. So yeah, I just said, and I wrote a vision on how I want to see my 2020 play out. And so I included family, I included career, I included love life, social life, all of that. So I just sat down and I wrote, like, what do I want to see happen with my family this year? What do I want to see happen with me personally? What do I want to see happen career-wise this year? And that was just kind of my release and letting it out and letting it sit, and we're gonna allow it to manifest in 2020. I do want to say, when you're doing this vision, if you choose to write out your vision for 2020, I made the mistake. So as I was writing it, I kept writing like, I want to. And so as I was reading it, I'm like, if I have this vision and if I believe that it will come to pass, then it's not a want. To go back and cross out all the wants, and I wrote in I will, and I definitely encourage you guys to do that. If it's a want, then you're already on the fence about it happening. Whereas my vision and the way I see it, and the reason I'm writing it down, is because I believe that it will come to pass. And so it's not a want, it's a will. Another thing, I kind of took a minute to put this video out too, because I wanted to make sure that I went through all the steps that I'm telling you guys about. And I don't want anybody to feel like rushed to go out and feel like they need to write something out. If you don't have anything that comes to your spirit or comes to your mind right away, that's okay. Just take your time, meditate on it. Like, I had certain things that I wrote down like before the year started, at the beginning of the year, and then honestly some of the stuff I just wrote out today, because everything's not going to always come to you at one time. And then you may write something down, and when you think about it, you may want to tweak it a little bit. So don't feel rushed. I feel like that's when the year first starts, everybody's like, you need to make your goals. If you haven't made any goals yet, then you're behind. Like, no, that may be okay for their life, but for your life, you can take your time and really figure out what it is that you're meant to do and what it is that you want to do as well. That is it. I'm just praying for a prosperous, joyful, peaceful year and new decade for all of us. And thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications. Follow me on Instagram, Snatched by Charmel. And yeah, I'll see you all next time.